fictional character is, we're forced to explore the history of global trade and the evolution of cork-based technology. God, well, I love my job. Anyway, what does any of this mean for our theory? Well, it tells us that royalty like Tyrion Lannister would likely be drinking wines that are aged or fortified, i.e. the really strong stuff. In the 16th century, fortifying wine became so popular and so strong, it would make a box of Franzia look like an oversized juice box. The most popular fortified wines of today, like Malmsey, sherry, and port, all have alcohol contents of around 22% alcohol by volume. That number on its own might not mean a lot to you, but by comparison, an average bottle of wine nowadays is going to be in the realm of 11% alcohol by volume. So the stuff that we see Tyrion drinking throughout Game of Thrones is going to be nearly twice as strong. And honestly, it can go up from there. In A Clash of Kings, the second novel of the series, Tyrion reveals that when Robert Baratheon was killed by a boar, he'd been consuming fortified wine that was 3 times as strong as usual, which would seem to indicate that its alcohol by volume was around 40%, which is as strong as a hard liquor like whiskey, but he's downing it like wine. So for our purposes today, we're safe to assume that Tyrion is drinking strong fortified wine at about 20% alcohol by volume. But of course, knowing what Tyrion is drinking is only part of the equation. To determine how drunk he's really getting, we need to consider how much he's drinking and how quickly he's drinking it. Our best scenario for this is Tyrion and Sansa's wedding banquet from season 3. Now obviously we don't see the whole scene, but we can figure it out and make some estimates based on what we do see. For one, Tyrion is filling his chalice to the very top, which is a bad sign. A serving of wine is typically about 4 to 5 fluid ounces, but the full volume of this glass is going to be something similar to this modern goblet from Williams & Sonoma for $80? Jeez! No wonder history invented the red Solo cup. Lannisters always pay their debts. Yeah, Lannisters always pay Williams & Sonoma. Man, home goods are way too expensive. Anyway, that overpriced vessel for holding fluid has a capacity of 10 ounces. So each time Tyrion fills and empties his glass, he's draining a double serving of wine. In the brief moments of the banquet that we do see, Tyrion downs 2 of those glasses in a matter of minutes. And more importantly, he was already drunk to begin with. Tyrion was out pre-gaming. This is the first shot that we see of him at the reception. If that face doesn't say, I'm about to regret my life choices, I don't know what does. Now we can't say for sure how long that wedding reception lasts, but we can calculate both a conservative estimate and an aggressive estimate. Assuming that the banquet is fairly short, say an hour or 2, and Tyrion finishes his wine every half hour, then he's going to consume roughly 30 to 40 fluid ounces of wine, or about a third of a gallon, 1.26 liters of alcohol. If he's drinking at the breakneck pace he seems to be, polishing off a glass every 15 minutes for upwards of 3 hours, then maybe he drinks as much as 100 ounces, just under 3/4 of a gallon, or for those on the metric system, just shy of 3 liters. That is a ton of alcohol. That's more than the amount of Diet Coke that I drink every day. And whether you're talking about the conservative estimate or the aggressive estimate, either way, it ain't gonna be pretty. But before we address that and determine the medical consequences of Tyrion's beverage of choice, there's one last factor that we have to take into account: Tyrion's weight. Alcohol tends to affect people proportionately based on their size. So while Tyrion might be able to drink as much as the mountain, his blood alcohol concentration is going to be a lot higher than that of someone who weighs 400 pounds. Peter Dinklage, the actor who plays Tyrion Lannister, stands at 4 feet 5 inches tall and is estimated to weigh anywhere between 88 and 112 pounds. And honestly, with as much busy lifting drink that Tyrion is pumping into his body, a few pounds in either direction isn't going to make that much of a difference. So let's call him 100 pounds or 35.35 kilograms. So knowing that, let's go back to our conservative number. If a man of Tyrion's size drinks roughly 6 glasses of strong fortified wine in the space of about 2 hours, that person's peak blood alcohol concentration is going to be somewhere between, drumroll please, 0.30 and 0.35%. Huh. Well, damn. Kind of expected that to be a more climactic moment. But I guess it's really hard to get hyped when every number that you're possibly going to be talking about is going to be less than 1. Because let me impress this upon you, dear viewer. 0.3 and 0.35 are huge numbers when it comes to